World War I is one of the most destructive conflicts known to us, at least for now it is. And when we look back on the events of wars like this one, we want to do our best to prevent it from happening again. But enough of that, let's get on with the video. Today's topic is one that I think should be covered a lot more, and clearly it isn't, so today we're talking about Austria-Hungary. More specifically, Austria-Hungary in World War I. Austria-Hungary was one of the main Central Powers during World War I, along with Germany and the Ottoman Empire. However, I feel like we don't talk about Austria-Hungary that much because, to be honest, during the war, all it was a German puppet. One of the reasons that Austria-Hungary was a German puppet was the fact that they were such an unsuccessful army for their size that it was actually quite laughable. But first, a little bit of history. Austria-Hungary was formed in 1867 and contained land from Czechoslovakia, Ukraine, Poland, Romania, Serbia, and Italy. During its reign, there were more than 15 languages used across the empire. But now let's finally get into the video. Let's begin back at the start of the war, when Franz Ferdinand, or should I say Archduke Franz Ferdinand, was assassinated by Gavrilo Princip. This led to the Austro-Hungarian Empire declaring war on the tiny nation of Serbia. And if you think that was a death wish for Serbia, you'd be wrong. Very, very wrong. And so, on the 12th of August 1914, the Austro-Hungarian Empire attacked Serbia, which was basically the start of the war to end all wars, as it was called. The outcome? By the end of 1914, the Austro-Hungarian Empire had gained no land and lost 227,000 troops to the Serbs. This, as you can very much imagine, was a very humiliating loss to the Central Powers. In fact, the Austro-Hungarian efforts for Serbia were so bad that they needed Germany to help them take it in 1915. And if you like humiliating defeats or stupid ideas by a singular person, here is another one that will sure make you look twice. And this one man's name is Konrad von Hotzendorf. This is what he did, right? So, early in the war, the Russian army had surrounded a Austro-Hungarian unit in the Przemysl fortress, which is in Poland today, and his plan was to relieve all of those troops with a winter offensive. How did that go, you ask? Well, when his first offensive failed, he launched another one, and when that one failed, he launched a third offensive, and that was the last of them. Considering the fact that Konrad von Hotzendorf was sending out his troops in temperatures of minus 30 degrees into the Carpathian Mountains, this was already a flawed plan to begin with. And, by the way, the soldiers had shoes which had soles made of cardboard. The death toll of all the three offensives came out to 800,000 troops for the Austro-Hungarian army, which basically almost destroyed their own army just trying to do those winter offensives. Now you may be asking yourself, or me, did the Austro-Hungarian Empire see any major success on any fronts? And the answer to that is, yes, they did. That was on the Italian front. When the Italians declared war on Austria-Hungary in 1915, they did so because they saw how badly they were failing as an army. They failed to take Serbia, they needed Germany's help, fighting Serbia, etc., etc. And they found this as the perfect opportunity to reclaim lost lands that had been taken by the Austro-Hungarian Empire. However, the Austro-Hungarian army was not planning to lose a war to Italy, so when the Italians attacked at first, they defended well, and the Italian attack was unsuccessful and did not break the Austrian line. And for once I'm going to mention the success of this, underwhelming army. In 1917, along with help from the Germans, they managed to take Caporetto, which was a very humiliating defeat to the Italians. The strength in numbers on the Italians in terms of manpower was significantly larger. It was like 300,000 men from the Central Powers to like 800,000 on the Italian side, but the Austro-German attack was very well organized. Apparently at 2 a.m. there was a chlorine gas attack which left a lot of the Italians running for their lives because they knew that their masks could only protect them for 2 hours or less. And when the initial attack came at around 6:40, the Germans first fired with their mortars on the Italian trenches, and then they took an almost undefended fort from the Italians, and that was one of the only successes that the army had during the war. But then, a year later, the Italians took back their positions at the Battle of Oh god, I'm probably going to botch this. The Battle of the Piave River, and they took back most of their positions, and then they began the advance towards the Adriatic coast. And then, as the Italians advanced on the Adriatic coast, came the final battle on the Italian front, and that was the Battle of, I'm probably going to botch this, Vittorio Veneto, and this was the battle which basically concluded the Italian front, and, well, the Italian reason for war, which was territorial gain, was now kind of fulfilled, but not really, because they didn't really gain all that much land. Anyway, this defeat of the Austro-Hungarian Empire was the last straw. After this battle, this is when the empire dissolved. When the empire dissolved, many states became independent. This includes Austria being its own country. Hungary was now independent. Czechoslovakia was independent once again. The states of Slovenes, Croats and Serbs were all independent now, and on the 1st of December 1918 they would all join to become Yugoslavia. Poland was now independent, Ukraine was now independent, and Transylvania and Bukovina were now a part of Romania. And that'll conclude it for the first video on my channel. If you have any suggestions what the next episode should be about, leave it in the comments. I am Boris, and we will discuss the 20th century in the next video.